she'd have shrugged all this off as no consequence. But now she seethed until the rush of heat in her cheeks reminded her to calm down. She concentrated on slowing her rushing pulse, cooling her elevated temperature. She uncurled her fingers from the fist she'd made, glancing at Ewan and noticing that he'd seen her do it. Her chin lifted in a silent challenge while she waited for him to say something.
Looks like we're seated toward the back.
Ewan had taken the small place card from the table outside the ballroom doors. He showed her the card. His name glittered on the paper in a fancy holographic font. Ewan Donahue and a guest. Nina's voice was thick with sarcasm. Nice. The touch of his hand on her lower back, her skin bared by the cut of the dress, would have sent shivers tickling up and down her spine if she hadn't been so closely controlling her body's reactions. She pressed her lips into a vapid smile she knew he'd hate. His was broad and genuine and knowing, and she hated it for making her remember how that same grin had used to make her feel. The past 3 weeks since she'd come back to work for him had been a game, both of them playing to win, and neither of them quite clear on the rules. Maybe the problem was that the game had no rules. No way to determine the champion. Neither of them would ever be the winner, Nina thought, her gaze moving over his face like a caress before she forced herself to look away. They'd both already lost. She wasn't going to let Ewan see any expression on her face but one of professional neutrality, no matter how much, against her own will, her body wanted to revel at his touch. She blinked, and her eyes stayed closed a second or so too long to be natural. She couldn't stop herself from thinking about his touch, his taste, his heat and his breath gusting over her face, and the way he moved against and inside her. With a shudder, Nina straightened her shoulders. Her eyes stung, her throat closing, and a wave of grief and loss swelled so fiercely inside her it threatened to send her to her knees. She would not weep, not here in front of everyone, but especially not in front of him. Not ever again, she vowed. Sadness replaced by fury in no more time than it took for her to take another breath.
Nina,
Ewan murmured.
Are you all right? Should we go sit? You look a little...
I'm fine. Her clipped tone gave away the lie. She looked to where Ewan had gestured with the card tucked between his fingers. All the way over there? Is that supposed to be a place of honor? You'd think there'd be a throne or something. Oops. That hadn't been exactly professional. Definitely more snarky than neutral. Too bad she couldn't control her tongue as easily as her pulse or body temperature.
Oh, shucks. I forgot my crown at home. And you seem to have left your tiara behind.
Ewan's fingertips traced a small circle on her skin before he stepped away. She shivered at the breaking of the contact, self-loathing tickling along her nerves at how weak she was in his presence.
We'll have to settle for regular chairs at that table in the back. Like the common folk.
Giddiness. Now, instead of struggling not to punch something, she was trying not to burst into hysterical laughter. No doubt she preferred this rush of joy over the other sweep of intense emotions, but she forced it back the way she'd done with those. It was easier somehow, either because she was getting better at it, or because it always seemed easier to tamp down happiness than sorrow. So long as there's some bread and butter on the table when I get there, I don't really care where we sit. Oh, an appetizer buffet. Nina gave the long, food-laden table at the side of the room a nod and watched from the corner of her eye as Ewan chuckled and shook his head.
Let's get you something to eat. It's been at least 4 hours. Are you all right?
She didn't want his obvious concern to move her. She didn't want him to know her so well, but he did. She shoved away the memories of exactly how well, and nodded. I'm not starving, but of course I can always eat, she said.